I'd like to call to order the Bristol, Tennessee City Council meeting, December 2nd, 2025. To order. Mary Lee, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Akerd? Here. Turner?
Yes.
Firerobin?
Here.
Slagle?
Here.
Powers? Here.
Welcome and thank everyone for attending tonight. There are no public hearings tonight, so the public's opportunity to speak is during the appearance of citizens. During this time, citizens are welcome to address the City Council regarding any matter of city business, including any items on tonight's agenda. A sign-up sheet has been provided as you entered council chambers, and those individuals desiring to address council. First thing we have our invocation and pledge. Chief Matt Austin will lead us in the invocation, and Councilwoman Akerd will lead us in our pledge.
Thank you. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with gratitude for the opportunity to gather and serve such a great community. Father, we pause to acknowledge your presence and seek your guidance. We thank you, Lord, for the responsibility and the privilege of leading this city, and ask that you steady our minds, soften our hearts, so that we may serve with humility, courage, and compassion. Grant each council member the wisdom and discern that what is right, the patience to listen deeply, the clarity to act with integrity. In moments of disagreement, Lord, help them find unity of purpose. In moments of uncertainty, remind them of their shared commitment to the people who places their trust in them. Lord, may peace, respect, and understanding shape their efforts here today. Father, we lift up our city, its families, its first responders, its staff, its leaders, and all those strive to make each day a better place. May your peace rest upon us, upon our neighborhoods, our protection over our residents, and your guidance in every decision made here tonight. Bless this meeting, Lord. May our words honor you, and may our actions uplift those we serve. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, are there any additions this evening?
No, they're not.
Okay. We have none. We have one recognition tonight. It's a citizen's appreciation to Cassandra Widener. Invite Police Chief Matt Austin come to the podium and present Ms. Widener with.
Yes, thank you. Again, ladies and gentlemen, members of council, today I have the privilege of recognizing an extraordinary act of courage and compassion. In a world where all the noise is all too often somber and tragic, tonight we get to celebrate joy and hope. In moments of crisis, it's often the split-second decisions of everyday citizens that make the greatness different. On a day that could have ended in tragedy, one woman's quick action, calm under pressure, and unwavering bravery saved the life of a small child in Middlebrook Lake. Her willingness to step forward when it mattered most reflects the very best of our community. It is my honor to present Cassandra Page Widener with a Citizen Appreciation Award. Ms. Widener. If you would, I'll read the citation. On October 14th, 2025, officers were dispatched to the vicinity of 304 Redstone Drive regarding a child approximately 3 years old who was wandering around by himself. Cassandra Widener noticed the child and tried to engage him, but the child took off running. Cassandra called to report the danger of the child. She followed behind the child and observed him jump into Middlebrook Lake. Fearing for the child's safety, Cassandra jumped into the lake to rescue the child. Cassandra's swift, decisive action ultimately safeguarded the child from severe injury or potential worse outcomes. Cassandra was not concerned for her own safety, but rather the safety of the child, due to her heroic and selfless actions that exemplify the highest standard of civic responsibility. The City of Bristol commends Cassandra Widener and is honored to present her with this Citizen Appreciation Award.
I didn't have anything prepared, so I just want to say that I was thankful for being in the right place at the right time that day, and for my son for being as calm as he could be in the car when I left him there.
Thank you. All right, next, we have no presentations. Next up is the Board of Education report, and I believe Mr. Kurt Rutherford is going to give that report.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me tonight. Dr. Tudor wasn't able to make it, so we drew straws to see who would be up here.
You drew the short one.
I'll let you guys decide if I win or lost.
We're glad to have you.
So good to be here. Good to be here. Thank you. I want to start off by saying thank you to our community supporters and to recognize the work of our Family Resource Center run by Kay Ward. Through this holiday season and the contributions that she gets from the community and school system, we were able to provide 172 families with Thanksgiving baskets and or gift cards for groceries. Through the same efforts, she's estimating 294 total students to be served through the Santa Pal and the John and Berry Toy Drive. So those are all Bristol kids and Bristol families that'll benefit from those community partners. I want to just note a couple upcoming events that we've got. One, first is kind of a new program. Tennessee High is participating in TDOT's Paint the Plow program. This is a new, I think it's in a couple years that TDOT's been doing this. They actually provide a snow plow, real working snow plow to the school. So the Tennessee High Art Club has painted a mural on the front of the plow, and it'll be used throughout Sullivan County to scrape roads. And, if we have snow events, that will also be featured in the Bristol Christmas Parade with our Mighty Viking Band. So if you guys can get a chance to see it, hopefully before it scrapes any snow. If you're interested, this Thursday at 10:30 at Tennessee High, there's a press event. They're going to reveal the plow, and TDOT officials will be there for that. So certainly you guys would love to have you for that 10:30 at Tennessee High on Thursday. Secondly, I wanted to note our Tennessee High Madrigal Dinner. That's an annual event that our Tennessee High Madrigal Singers put on. It's at First Christian Church, December 12th through the 14th. Tickets are still available for that through Tennessee High School. So great event, great meal. So I would love to have you there. And then we have several tournaments going up in Viking Hall. These are annual things that hopefully you're familiar with, but starting with December 19th through the 21st, the Lady Vikings will host the Doc Maples Holiday Hoops Tournament. It's a great girls basketball tournament. Also, we're all excited about the Classic at Tennessee High School presented by Toyota of Bristol. It'll be the 41st annual tournament, scheduled for December 26th through the 31st. Passes are on sale now on the website for the Classic, and also I believe they're selling them at Food City now. So those got a lot of good new things planned for that. Some great teams coming in and some new fan amenities that we're adding. So that should be the best tournament so far. So we'd love to see you guys there. And lastly, as far as tournaments, we have Brawl in the Hall. It's a wrestling tournament on January 3rd and 4th. It's a big wrestling tournament, lots of teams coming in from all over the place. The place will be packed and lots of good wrestling. So a couple other things on the wrestling note, we wanted to invite you guys to stop by the building on Melrose and check out what we've done. We've got our wrestling in full swing down there, practicing every day, and we've done some improvements and working on more, so I'd love to show that off to you guys anytime you're interested. And that is all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me.
I'll just, I drove, not today, yesterday maybe, down Melrose right when school was out. There were a lot
Lots of
of
people.
kids walking to Melrose. So
yeah.
just thrilled that it's walking distance
It is.
for our students. So we're very pleased that that's working out and that it's open and usable and a good
Walking on
thing.
lots of new sidewalks too, so there's.
And
good-
it looks a lot better too from
paths.
the road. It's really cleaned up down there.
So,
And
yeah.
I'd just like to thank you, Kurt, for all the work that you do on behalf of Bristol, Tennessee City Schools and on behalf of the city, and your, willingness just to continue to work alongside Bristol, Tennessee City staff and Mike Maines and all the work that you have done and continue to do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, Mike Maines and Kurt Rutherford. Yay.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you. Okay, next we have the appearance of citizens, which it doesn't look like anyone signed up this evening. What's that? Okay, yeah, this is the time just to keep your comments to 3 minutes and come to the podium and state your name and
My name is Renee Gaskins. I was commenting on the ordinance. I believe it's the next thing up. And the only reason this is on my radar is because the city annexed the property behind my house and industrialized it and converted it to M2 industrial. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known about this. I wouldn't have known what the setbacks are. I wouldn't have known what the buffers were. And I've been forced to know that because the realization is that since that has been done, a factory was going to be built 50 feet from my house. We have gone to the planning commission meetings. We've come here to voice it. And obviously, it's going to happen. But since the planning commission meeting had brought up revising these ordinances, we had requested that consideration be given to residents whenever you industrialize residential property. And I am thankful that the distance between my house and a factory is now 50 feet instead of 30 feet. But I had no idea, number one, that you could build right next to a residentially zoned property, and I had no idea that they could be built within 30 feet of our property, which is what it says. So while I do appreciate that the Planning Commission has worked hard to add the buffer of 50 feet for not just us, but anyone who's similarly situated, I do want you to consider further amending the ordinances to provide further protection. It was mentioned at the Planning Commission meeting that the city is out of property. So we are not the only people this is going to happen to. More residents are going to have a factory in their backyard. It was also mentioned that you can't have a bigger buffer than 50 feet because that would deter development. I just want to point out that if there's so much of that property affected by a reasonable development, by a reasonable buffer that would deter development, then I believe that the property should not have been industrialized, that there's too much residence by it. And if it's insignificant amount of residential property that's bordering the industrial properties, then there should be no reason that you can't have a strip of no man's land along any residential border that protects the residents and protects the citizens. I know the city is eager to industrialize. I know that is a big goal of both the city and the county, but that has to be done responsibly, and it has to be done with consideration of the residents that are adversely affected. I mean, we sit on our back deck every weekend by a fire and enjoy sitting outside on our deck. I don't know that we'll ever be able to do that with a factory 50 feet from our property. So,
Mayor, 3 minutes is up.
all right.
You can finish your, you can finish your.
I'm just asking
yeah.
you to not just think what this has done to us, but think what it is doing to everyone else that's in this situation.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address council?
Hi, my name is Tracy Crawford. Renee is my neighbor. We're in the same boat. When I bought this property, my biggest fear was that a cow would get through the fence and eat my flowers. And now my biggest fear is an industrial accident, a chemical spill, an explosion, a fire. I think we all remember what happened with Sperry and with Exide, and those homes were much closer than 50 feet. And I bring this up every time, but I have to remind you that 50 feet is only a little over 3 car lengths. The bench you sit behind is probably over half of that distance. It's not enough, and I think every single one of you know it's not enough. It's not enough protection to the homes that border that property. And I know that you need to word an ordinance for other properties. I know it's not just based on our property. But I think that there has to be some responsibility there. You have to add covenants or special provisions for properties that don't have enough space to do an industrial that adjoins a residential. I think there has to be some kind of responsible response to that. It's not, you know, the house across the street from me, my front door is 100 feet from his front door. 100 feet. And I don't want to look over there and see a factory or hear it or smell it or my home be vibrated by it. I don't know how that is even a thought. It's not responsible. It's not responsible development. I do want economic development in this region. However, you know, the factories that you're going to be able to build on this lot in particular are not going to be, you know, 200 or 300,000 square feet. So, you know, you may be able to build something big enough to employ 30 people. I called around today, and there are more than 30 jobs in production available. As a matter of fact, I work for a manufacturer. We can't keep them filled, you know, so there has to be some balance there. You know, you can put commercial development back there, sure. Industrial, it's too close. It's just too close. It's not safe. It's not safe for me. It's not safe for my neighbor or her grandchildren that play in that yard. I, too, enjoy my fire pit in my backyard. And my property values are going to devalue rapidly once you start construction back there. I've already talked to, and, you know, Mayor Turner, you're a realtor. You know that's going to happen. You know that's going to happen to all of the properties that border that property. So I'm just asking one more time to please put yourself in our place, in our position. What would you want? What would you want? 50 feet? Would you want 1,000 feet? Would you want something different, completely commercial, no industrial? I don't know. I
Mayor,
don't.
the 3 minutes is up.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay. Next, we're to ordinances and resolutions. We have 2 ordinances on the first reading tonight. Ordinance 25-27 to amend the city zoning ordinance to change the uses permitted in industrial zones and to require an additional buffer between industrial and residential property. Ms. Young?
Thank you, Mayor Turner, and good evening, council members. The first item up tonight, we're working to get the screen back up, but the first reading we have the ordinance tonight is to amend the industrial districts, or Chapter 5 of the zoning ordinance. As the ladies who spoke previously described, this is something that the Planning Commission has been working on for several meetings, and at their meeting in November, did vote to send a positive recommendation forward on the proposal that's in your packet and on your agenda tonight. We went through this in the work session, but briefly, there are what I would say 5 points to this. The first 4 are related to the uses in the industrial zones. The last one is related to the development standards or the space requirements for the industrial district, specifically for the M2 zone. So the first four items are related to uses, and those are that the proposed ordinance amends the permitted use entries in the M1, M2, and M3 zones by deleting coal yards from M1 and M2 and adding coal yards into the M3 zone, and the M3 being our most heavily industrial district with a minimum acreage requirement of 50 acres and a special use permit process attached to it. Item 2 is to amend the public and private utilities entry in the M1 and M2s to accept out nuclear electric power generation, so that would not be allowed in the M1 and M2. While other utilities would be, the nuclear electric power generation would be allowed in the M3 zone. This deletes the manufacturing uses that are listed in the M2 zone that are unnecessarily identified as an entry alone. So if you remember, and I may have it on the screen here in just a second, there's a section in that M2 that has a lot of red strike-throughs with yellow highlight. That's not to indicate that those uses are deleted. The entry in the zoning ordinance is deleted because it's actually captured in that first entry of 31, 32, 33, all of those manufacturing uses. Item 4, removing stockyards and slaughterhouses for animals out of the M2 zone and adding it into the M3 zone. And then finally, related to the development standards or space requirements, currently the ordinance, the M2 entry in the space requirements chart does require a minimum setback of 30 feet. So the proposed ordinance bumps that to 50 feet when a manufacturing use in the M2 is adjacent to a residential zone. And it further calls out that this was a 50-foot buffer, not just a setback, so a 50-foot buffer that has to be maintained along any shared property line with a residential zone. It says explicitly that no structures or improvements are allowed in the buffer. The only thing that is allowed is landscaping, fencing, walls, berms, stormwater management features, or utilities. So what that does is creates a zone against a residential property line where you don't have parking, drive aisles, you don't have buildings, you don't have structures, you don't have storage of materials. So within that buffer, you only have landscaping features, essentially fences or walls. So that is the summary of the ordinance, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or expand on any of those points.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Ms. Shawn?
So can you just explain again, so it's a 50, it goes from a 30 to 50-foot setback, and then how the buffering works, it's within that 50 feet? Or if you can explain it how, again, in a different way.
Yes, ma'am. So the ordinance currently calls out a 30-foot setback for buildings. So that's going to apply to buildings and structures. That's what our setbacks apply to. That doesn't currently touch anything like a parking lot, a drive aisle, any kind of additional type structure that you might build that's ancillary to the building itself. So that's 30 foot. Right now, if someone developed in the M2 zone, we would check for that 30-foot setback for the building only. What we've applied in this ordinance is a 50-foot buffer. So there's going to be 50 feet between a residential property line to basically anything that is a building, a structure, a parking lot, a storage area. The only thing that is allowed within the 50 feet is going to be a landscape feature, stormwater feature. Your utilities can run through the buffer, so sanitary sewer, water, power can run in that buffer, but there would be no real use of the buffer in terms of things that the neighbors might experience. Additionally, our ordinance already requires a 25-foot landscape buffer if you're an M2 use adjacent to a residential use. So in that 50 feet, if the ordinance moves forward, you're going to have 25 feet of a landscape buffer and then another 25 feet of essentially, it doesn't have to be planted with trees, but you're going to have a 25-foot area that's not going to be consumed by the industrial use of the property. So there's going to be a 50-foot buffer against that residential property line.
And in the current ordinance, it says a minimum of 30 feet. Is that also the language as a minimum of 50 feet?
Minimum a 50-foot buffer, yes.
Okay, which then allows for people to increase that if they wanted to.
It certainly can go greater than a 50-feet buffer.
Okay.
Anything else? Do I have a motion to take action on 25-27?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mary Lee?
Akerd,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have ordinance 25-28 to amend the zoning map of Bristol, Tennessee by designating certain property as B3 General Business, 1241 Virginia Avenue. Ms. Young will also present on this.
Thank you, Mayor. So tonight, the ordinance to rezone the property at 1241 Virginia Avenue is a request that was presented by Adventure from Home, Inc. The request is to rezone from R2, which is a single-family and duplex zone, to B3, which is our general business zone. The parcel is approximately .34 acres, and surrounding properties are B3 and R2 in that area. The Planning Commission did review this request on November 17th and voted to send a positive recommendation on the request. And just for, I'll try to use my colorful language without a screen, but this is the property that's beside of the parcel that formerly was the location of the greenhouses on Virginia Avenue. So this is the parcel that's just beside it with 2 residential homes on the parcel. The future land use map does indicate that the property would be used for commercial uses. So that does line up with the rezoning request for a commercial use. We did notify adjacent property owners by letter of this meeting and the request, and we did post signs on the property. To date, we've only received 1 comment form back, and that is in support of the rezoning request.
Any questions for Ms. Shawnee?
For those who may not be aware of exactly where this property is, it's where the old Mead greenhouse was.
Just beside it, just adjacent.
Do I have a motion on ordinance 25-28?
Motion to approve ordinance 2528.
Motion, a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mary Lee?
Akerd,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Okay, next we have 2 ordinances on second reading tonight. First one is 25-24 to abandon unopened portions of Whitaker Drive and Buena Vista Drive as public right-of-way. This item was presented on the first reading at our November council meeting, and Ms. Young will present.
Sure, thank you. So this request was submitted by Mrs. Stephanie Jackson, who owns 15 parcels that are adjacent to the area proposed for abandonment. The area is zoned R1A, so everything is zoned for the low-density, single-family residential zoning classification. And if approved, Mrs. Jackson has submitted a subdivision plat already that will dissolve the property lines of those 15 parcels, and she'll be left with 1 sizable parcel there for her property. The Planning Commission did review this on October 20th and voted to send a favorable recommendation to City Council on the request.
Any questions for Ms. Young? Do I have a motion on ordinance 25-24?
Motion to approve ordinance 25-24.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mary Lee?
Akerd,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
All right, next we have ordinance 25-26 to amend Chapter 10 animals, Article 1 in the general, to regulate the keeping of roosters, peafowl, and guinea fowl within the city of Bristol, Tennessee.
Thank you. So we summarized this in the first reading, but this is some of the, we've worked on this a little bit on and off throughout the past year. And it was due to some complaints that we were getting about the number or noise related to some roosters in the city. Staff presented an amendment during the September 2024 meeting, which would prohibit roosters in city limits outright. Council did hear that ordinance and listen to public comment that night, and decided to table the issue until staff could research additional requirements and some of the issues that were brought up by the public during that meeting. The revised ordinance presented during first reading and then again tonight essentially amends chapter 10-10.12 of the city code, and says that beginning and after May 20th, 2026, that the keeping or maintenance of more than one rooster per parcel is prohibited within the city, other than property that is zoned open space district or the OS district. For the purposes of the ordinance, a rooster is defined as an adult male domestic chicken, and this ordinance says that the keeping of peafowl and guinea fowl is prohibited. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Young? Do I have a motion to take action on 25-26?
Move to approve ordinance 25-26.
A second.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Mary Lee?
Akerd,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Firerobin,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
All right, we have 5 resolutions this evening. First one is 25-188, authorizing a change in the personnel policy as it relates to bereavement leave.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. You have before you tonight Resolution 25-188, and that is to consider amendments to the personnel policy's bereavement leave language. This will allow for non-consecutive leave in certain situations. It expands the definition of immediate family that bereavement leave would be eligible for, and it provides for a cap of up to 1 week of other leave, which would be sick, vacation, or leave without pay. That could be used beyond the 3-day bereavement leave, where it would be appropriate and approved by a supervisor. So staff would appreciate action on Resolution 25-188.
Any questions? Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 25-188?
Motion to approve Resolution 25-188.
A second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mary Lee?
Akerd,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Firerobin,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
All right, next we have Resolution 25-189, resolution accepting a donation of real property on Phillipswood Drive. Park and Recreation Director Mike Maines will present.
Mayor Turner, members of City Council, thank you for the consideration of this resolution. It gives us an opportunity to really probably take care of some needs down the road. Looking at this, the background into it, Kevin Carney came to us several months ago with 2.5 acres that he was interested in donating to the city too. It's along Phillipswood Drive. The parcel is assessed at $13,100. Staff looked at the site. We reviewed it. We discussed potential future uses, which included an opportunity if the Beaver Creek Trail was built, which was studied back in 2020. This would make an excellent trailhead for that trail location. If that isn't to be the case, it also could become a pocket park, and then also could be used for some educational opportunities there along the creek side itself. Looking at maintenance, we found that it's just a wooded area, a wooded lot right now that would require just really no maintenance at all. And then the other thing too, the donation and details of this particular opportunity, Mr. Carney will pay for all 2025 property taxes and any rollback taxes prior to the transfer. The benefits we see is recreational use down the road, and I, for one, I'm very cautious about what we do, especially when it comes to obtaining land, but this seems to be just the right fit at the right time for all parties involved. So thank you for this consideration. If you have any questions, let me know.
I've got one. Is there any deed restrictions that is placed on this piece of property?
I don't believe so. There's none.
There are none. Okay. Okay. All right. Any further questions, or do I have a motion to approve 25-189?
I move
Go ahead.
to approve Resolution 25-189.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mary Lee?
Akert,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Firehobin,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
All right, next we have Resolution 25-190, a resolution authorizing acceptance of Brownfields redevelopment area grant funds. Mr. Tom Anderson will present.
Thank you, Mayor Turner. Good evening, council members, city manager, Bourgeois. This is, back in August, we engaged the civil and environmental consultants, we just call them CEC. We engaged them to assist staff to submit for an application for a Brownfield redevelopment area grant, which is the BRAG grant through TDEC. And that allows us to do a phase 2 on the LC King building. We were notified last month that we were successful with that grant application for $99,600. $94,600 of it will go to CEC to complete a phase 2. And then there's $5,000, which is administrative, to possibly reimburse the city for some staff time. What we're asking for is the acceptance of this grant, and there is no match. There is a requisite requirement that we participate in the voluntary brownfield program. It's a VOAP, but it's a brownfield voluntary cleanup oversight and assistance program. We have to engage in that program, and CEC will also assist us with applying to that program going forward.
Any questions?
I
Mr.
have a
Anderson?
question. It's great that we've gotten the grant. We always love having other people's money. Based on this, what is the timeline of having this part of it executed, and then from there, what are our next steps?
Okay, they'll be able to complete this by the second quarter, and then they'll immediately be able to, if the phase 2 bears out, but they'll immediately go for the brownfield agreement and get that in place, which then greatly limits the environmental liability for the city and its citizens going forward. If there's some things that need to be remediated or mitigated, we will then be able to go for a remediation grant, which is part of the BRAG program. There is no match in that one. It also is the same thing. You have to be part of this voluntary brownfield agreement, which we're doing anyway. And if there is anything that needs to be mitigated or remediated, we can get up to $500,000 to that effort. And those are rolling deadlines. They changed the rules on that, TDEC did, so we'll be able to apply anytime this year.
So having received this grant, once that work is done, if need be, we would be in line to receive the next grant to keep the project moving.
Yes, we'll apply for the next grant, up to $500,000. And again, that's no match.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve 25-190?
Motion to approve 25-190.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mary Lee?
Akert,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Firehobin,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
All right, next we have Resolution 25-191, authorizing engagement of civil and environmental consultants to perform the LC King Phase 2 environmental site assessment.
It's pretty much following up with what I just explained in the BRAG grant. We would engage them for a total of up to $94,600 to complete the Phase 2 environmental study.
Do I have a motion to approve 25-191?
Motion to approve Resolution 25-191.
Do you have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mary Lee?
Akert,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Farrobin,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Resolution 25-192, a resolution declaring the intent of the City of Bristol, Tennessee to reimburse itself for certain expenditures in aggregate principal amount not to exceed $10 million relating to the municipal projects with the city, and proceeds of bonds and other debt obligations to be issued by the City of Bristol, Tennessee. Holly Barron will present.
Holly, we can't hear you. Maybe it's not on.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. That's great.
All right. Good evening. Sorry about that. Resolution 192, authorizing the reimbursement to the city from issuance of general obligation bonds, should that occur in the future. This authorizes the city to reimburse itself for improvements and/or extensions to city water and sewer system for certain expenditures in aggregate principal amount not to exceed $10 million with the proceeds of bonds or other debt obligations. No debt has been issued to date. However, this resolution will allow the reimbursement of eligible expenditures if the city does issue the bonds within the next 18 months. It was suggested by the city's financial advisor, Cumberland Securities, in the event the city anticipates the necessity for payment of certain infrastructure project costs prior to issuance of the debt obligation. And this will allow the city to maintain adequate levels of cash reserves in the Waterworks Fund. With that, any questions?
I guess I just want to, of clarifying this, and I've had numerous conversations about this, of we are not issuing any bonds, and this mainly, the reason we're doing this is for our Waterworks Fund, that if there were bonds that needed to be issued, that would be paid back through the Waterworks. And this, I guess we got today of the fact of the $735,000, which is going to be for the engineering of this project that we're under order with TDEC, right? That $735,000, which will be, I know, in January or February before us, then we can pay ourselves back that $735,000, whatever it is, if we end up using bonds. If we do not issue bonds and there's enough cash in the Waterworks Fund, then it's the same thing, right? We're just leaving the door open in the event that we do have to need to issue bonds for this. That would be paid through the Waterworks Fund. That this is no bonds that relate to any property tax dollars. This is strictly for the Waterworks Fund.
Yes, so what you will have in front of you at Joint Sewer Oversight Committee and then at Council, hopefully in January, is a contract for inflow and infiltration study and engineering work with an engineering firm that will total about $725,000. Now, our utilities director is working to clarify and reduce that as much as possible. What this resolution does is when we bring that to you, you can approve potentially funding that, reimbursing the Waterworks Fund for the cost of that study and engineering work with a bond that would be issued in the future for the actual I&I infrastructure work. The calculations would be done at the time that the bond would go to market. There may be a time where, given the interest rates, it makes sense to pay for that engineering study out of cash reserves, or given interest rates, it may make more financial sense to pay for it, reimburse the city for it with bond proceeds. This resolution just keeps that option open for you. It doesn't commit to either option, and it certainly doesn't commit to issuing a bond at all.
Okay.
So 730,000 estimate on the study, what's the timeline on that?
I couldn't tell you. I don't have it in front of me. bring that to you as a completely separate item.
So is it possible it could take longer than 18 months?
No. We are under the TDEC director's order. We'll have to start the I&I work prior to that.
So that
18 months.
$730,000 goes beyond just covering the TDEC order, correct?
No, it's the study of the system, and then it's the engineering for the pipelining.
And I'm correct to say we've got $9.5 million in the Waterworks Fund?
That is the information that was emailed to you.
9.4 and change? Okay. Thank you.
So my question is, is there a time constraint on when we could act to secure, to do this as far as a bond? We're not issuing a bond, we're not, what we're doing is we're being preemptive to say that we have the intent, if necessary, to issue a bond up to $10 million strictly for the use of municipal projects specifically related to infrastructure. So I guess my question is it imminent that we take, why would it be imminent that we take this action now and not in the next few months?
To be able to reimburse yourself, Holly, correct me, I know we've had this discussion. In order to be able to reimburse yourself for the cost of this engineering study, the resolution has to be passed before the contract to enter into the services goes into effect, which we anticipate bringing in January. So if you don't have this resolution passed by January, then you cannot reimburse yourself for that cost in the future. If you choose not to reimburse yourself in the future, that's fine. You're not obligated to, but you lose that option if you don't pass the resolution.
At the end of the day, though, we are paying for it. It's just a matter of whether we reimburse the water fund through the bond or we pay for it directly from the bond. I think it's a little confusing to say that we would be reimbursing ourselves as though there would not be a cost to the city. The cost would either be through the bond or it would be from the water fund directly. Either way, it's an expenditure of that. It's not like
Correct.
TDEC money as was discussed previously. It's whether we're going to take it from Peter or whether we're going to take it from Paul. And so to Mr. Slagle's point of the $9.5 million, I would think that there may be the question of why would we just not take it from the $9.5 million?
Well, you will, initially you will. And then if you choose to bond for a capital project moving forward
Right.
to implement the project that is laid out in the engineering study,
Right.
at that point, you can wrap the cost of the engineering study into that overall bond, if the numbers make sense. And if not, you've paid for the study out of the funds already, because you have to do that before any bond is ever issued. So you're correct. Either way, the money is being paid. There's no way around having to do that engineering work.
And to Mayor Turner's point, I'm just trying to lay it all out there and be sure that I understand completely. Regardless, such an infrastructure project would be required to be paid for through the enterprise fund.
Correct.
And so we currently have the 9.4 and change, 9.5 million within the enterprise fund. If the project came back and exceeded what's currently in the enterprise fund, what then?
We would have to talk about a bond.
They're bonding.
Yeah.
It would have to be bonded to that amount, but it would still then have to be supported through the water works fund.
Correct, yes, yes. And to clarify, the I&I project would be a sanitary sewer project. So there's a portion of that that would be an obligation of BVU as part of our joint sewer system. But there are other portions of our system that would solely be Bristol, Tennessee's responsibility. So of that $725,000, there's a portion that will be paid by BVU. A larger portion will be paid by Bristol, Tennessee. We don't have that split out yet. Those are all pieces that will be presented to you.
Well, I think for me, the reason that I'm voting for this is, number one, of leaving the door open if need be, and then at the end of the day, if we are not able to pay ourselves back, I think it would be, it's going to be a larger amount on the ratepayers of the fact of if you're taking, if it's 700,000 over the term of the bond versus of that 700,000 out of the fund and what you had to raise rates to for that cover that $700,000. So I think it's leaving the door open to have the option, and who knows, hopefully we will not have to bond to get this project finished, but if we do, we can get if we choose, get the 700 back, or we may pay the 700, but I think without this, then only option we have is to pay the 700, so.
And I just have two more things that have come to mind. You know me, I have lots of questions. At this juncture, regardless of what action is taken this evening, before any bond could be issued, it has to come back to council for approval.
Yes, that is correct.
That's the first part.
And if I could, just one more piece, not related particularly to this resolution, but part of that engineering study is assistance in looking for other funds, either state funds or federal funds, to help finance the project, not bond funds. So we are still, looking everywhere we can for other low interest or no interest or grant money, you name it, to help fund any I&I project that we do moving forward.
So if I understand correctly, the action that would be taken tonight would be the action of a placeholder so that you can investigate to a greater degree other potential funding opportunities that would not impact our ratepayers. And for the timeliness of being able to engage with the engineering consultants to put together the study.
This resolution, all it does is keeps the door open to reimburse the fund, the Waterworks Fund, for the cost of the study should a bond be issued at a later date, that within the 18-month time frame. That's all that this resolution will do.
So we've already impacted residents with raised rates. We have a Waterworks Fund of $9.5 million, and we want to potentially forecast debt for the city without a general plan. I can't support it.
Do I have a motion to approve 25-192?
Motion to approve Resolution 25-192.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mary Lee?
Aker,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Fire Robin,
Yes.
Slagle,
No.
Powers.
No.
Okay. Next, we have our consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. On consent tonight, you have the minutes of the November 4th City Council meeting, the minutes of the November 18th Council work session, approval of Resolution 25-193, authorizing the purchase and installation of 3 snowplows through Sourcewell, approval of Resolution 25-194, authorizing the purchase of 3 salt spreaders through Sourcewell, approval of Resolution 25-195, authorizing renewal of the city's bulk fuel contract with James River Solutions, approval of Resolution 25-196, awarding a bid for the demolition of buildings on 23rd Street, Lark Street, and Bay Street, approval of Resolution 25-197, authorizing approval of Veracity RX as the pharmacy benefit manager for the city's health plan, approval of Resolution 25-198, authorizing the purchase of software support for Civic Plus LLC for our website, approval of Resolution 25-199, authorizing the city to enter into a contract for legal services related to the AFFF PFAS product liability litigation, approval of Resolution 25-200, approving further revisions to the Bristol, Tennessee Transit Title 11 program, Title VI program. Approval of Resolution 25-201, authorizing the city to participate in the state and local cybersecurity grant program, and approval of Resolution 25-202, authorizing the city to accept the Tennessee America 250 Community Support Grant, and that's a retroactive approval.
Would any member of council like an item to be removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none. Mary Lee? Well, actually, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the consent.
We have a motion.
agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mary Lee?
Akerd,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Firewalben.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
All right, next we have our city manager's report.
Thank you. Just a couple notes here. At the last work session, the property tax freeze program was discussed, as was the relief program that the city currently provides. There was discussion about making amendments to that. Just wanted to remind our residents that we do already participate in the state's property tax relief program, and that application period is open right now. And if people are interested, they can contact our finance department for application to sit down and determine if they're eligible. Then just some upcoming events. The Christmas parade, the Chamber's Christmas parade, is this Thursday, the 4th, from 7 to 9. We will have the float, so hopefully all of the council can make it to that, and we will be passing out great treats this year. We have the Symphony of the Mountains on December 5th from 6 to 8 at the Downtown Center. The Gingerbread Jingle with Kris Kringle on December 13th from 11 to 1 at Still Creek Park. Santa will be there, and we'll have games and crafts. Journey's End is on December 16th at 6, and just happy holidays to all. I can't believe we're already at the end of the year.
Okay. City council comments?
I'll go quick. Wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. It will be here very quickly. There are a lot of great activities going on, a lot of great businesses downtown that for many this is their grandest season and they need the most support possible. A thank you to our staff who is just working overtime downtown, you can tell, but just the city looks very orderly and put together, and the tree lighting last night was very nice. And our city staff does a tremendous amount of work to support Believe in Bristol, and just very excited about that. It's very cold outside. As you go about, please check on your neighbors and your friends and be sure, especially the elderly or those with small children. We're still in a time of food fragility. Our food pantries are in need of help, so if you can help there. And just want to thank everyone for participating and for being here tonight and for watching at home, and wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
You have anything?
I'm good.
Yes, you're up.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you very much. So just thinking after hearing about our gift of land and the potential little pocket park, which it is, no matter what happens, right now it's a pocket park, but wondering about communication to that neighborhood, because it's been private property. They might have hesitated to go look at the creek or do anything. I haven't seen it to know how hard it is, how difficult. But whether there's opportunity somehow to communicate with the neighborhood to let them know that this property is now possible for exploration and for kids to go with their parents or whatever to check it out and see what's there, et cetera. So if that's appropriate, to find some way to communicate that to the neighborhood. Secondly, I want to express my grateful for citizens who respond and how wonderful that is in our community, and how some of that has been lost as our communities aren't as close-knit or as much strong a community, and sometimes we feel like we need to have permission to intervene with something. So thank you very much for having that instinct, for having that action, and immediately responding. So not only is that good for an individual act, but it gives us hope that our community is still strong and that we respond to needs. So thank you very much. And speaking of responding, and Councilwoman Powers already talked about the vulnerable folks, and this morning I was at the day center where we're having almost 100 people a day, and people had to leave our day center that's inside the Salvation Army. Family Promise of Bristol does it at 1 o'clock to go outside until some of them get to stay at Salvation Army with white flag at 32 degrees or below. Other people don't have the shelter because there's not enough. We need volunteers to help out. There's facility, the Salvation Army has room, but needs volunteers to be able to staff a shelter. There's going to be some more organizing around that. It'll be a little late for this year, but the Sullivan County Emergency Medical, what's it called?
Emergency Management Director.
Emergency Medical Program Department.
Management Plan. Yeah.
Management Planning. Miranda Belcher and Jim Bean and others are working to try to have a better plan going forward for our community. Also, there's, with food insecurity, with the changes in SNAP that are going to be difficult for a lot of people to meet and to be able to report to maintain their SNAP benefits, the demands on our food pantries are going to be astronomical. So just being aware of that and being ready to do what we can to step in. And last, just I talked about it last time, I'll talk about it again. Scott Hill, who's back there running our camera, has gone from one theater Bristol performance to two more, I think, White Christmas and Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa Claus. So great way to celebrate, in addition to everything else, to go to a Theater Bristol performance. So they try to keep it affordable for families, and it's great for our community to have community theater. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to recognize, we have BTS here, Clayton Dow and April Eads. Thank you for coming, and I see Mr. Kelly Graham snuck in the back from our Planning Commission. Thank you for being here, and thank everyone else, and wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We're adjourned.